Hi everyone, it's Clyde at Vibrant Soap. I've been anxious to get back to soap making and editing my videos. I've been pretty busy, but it's been soap related somewhat. So anyway, I'm back to it, and I want to show you this soap that I'm making. It's a custom order, and I'm going to be cutting it a little bit differently because they're meant to be little sample size soaps, and it's with the fragrance Spicy Apples and Peaches from RUSTIC Essentials, and it smells really awesome. And I realized that out of the bottle, it's really sophisticated, more than you would think at first, because you pick up notes of cinnamon and mulled spices, as it says in the description of it. But I think it's going to make it just a great soap. So show you the color tutorial first, and I'm deciding that I probably don't want to make the base dark red, so I'm going to make it a great pink, I think, as a backdrop to some white and orange. So let's get started right away. Okay, so I thought about this design for this Spicy Apples and Peaches soap, and I thought about something about what I do in the art and what I've appreciated in art before, and that is simple is best in many cases in design, but it's sort of, you go and kind of bridge the gap between fine art and design. That might not always be true, because there are highly complicated works of art as well that are not simple at all. So in the case of this soap, I want to do something out of the ordinary, but I want to keep it simple too. And the choice is going to be what colors I use in the soap. So I'm going to limit it to 3, but the 3 colors that I choose, I'm going to get a different quality to the red. And you usually think of a sort of cherry red for apples. Of course, we have green apples and yellow apples too, but I'm gonna get more of a pink, but you don't usually think of pink for apples. But the reason why I'm going to use pink is that it has less red pigment, and it'll cut down on the bleeding when you use the soap. And yet I hope it will get the feeling of apples across. So I'm going to choose to use somewhat of magenta red pastel, because it's got some white in it. This is what I picture. And that's going to be my base. Planning on doing an in the pot swirl that I drop into that base, and I'm going to use white, combined with the orange to represent the peaches. So I want bright orange. Probably going to be the color that I use the least amount in that. And that's it. And that should hold together because the colors are related. White is neutral, the red and the orange are warm colors, and it also represents the scent of apples and peaches. So that's it for the color tutorial. How to make something that's a little bit different than the inspiration is the case in the soap. Again, I'm making the red into a magenta pastel basically, and the rest is pretty straightforward. So let's get on with the soap making. Okay, I'm going to blend the kaolin clay. That's my main reason to really blend this well. But I've got my oils and goat milk in there as well. And I'm soaking at about 79 degrees today. Let's get the lye solution in there. That's also at 79 degrees. Let's emulsify this. Let's get the spicy apples and peaches fragrance in there from RUSTIC Essentials. I've used this before and it behaved perfectly well. That smells really good. This is not a holiday soap, but the fragrance passes that. It's just very fruity. I'm going to use orange and pink in the pot swirl that I'm going to pour into this. There's my orange. And then here's my white. That's going to become part of a in the pot swirl. And the rest is going to be pink. So let's blend that. And that needs to be much more pink, so I'm going to add some more. It's kind of a watermelon-y pink, but it's not what I was after. Watermelon-y. So, let me take care of my in the pot swirl first. Although it started to thicken up, it's not really accelerating, so that's good. Always like to stir out the bubbles and make sure I incorporated that titanium dioxide. Just keeping a little of that for the top. To the white. Keep a little of that for the top. Just the scrapings. Let me spin this around a little bit. I know I got bubbles in this. Turned out to be a really nice pink. And I want to pour most of this pink in there. You can hardly see it. Kind of matches the mold. I'll keep a little bit of that to pour on top of this. It looks like ice cream. And the way I'm getting this in there, I'm not pouring it in as part of a drop swirl. I'm just using the spatula to get it in, so it's going to end up mainly on the top. This is part of the design. And just get the scrapings of the white in there, followed by the orange. Swirl the top and we'll be all done. The last bit of color is the orange. I really like orange and pink together. Not sure where my chopstick went, so I'm going to have to use this popsicle stick. And let's see, I haven't done this in a while. So this is one of 3 loaves as a custom order, and these are going to be cut into sample sizes, which means I'll cut them, maybe a little larger than 1/4 of an inch wide, and then I'll cut those vertically so that they're nice little rectangles, vertical rectangles. And I'll show you the cutting in just a second. Okay, so I just beveled the top of this soap loaf. And let's cut into this. No surprises there, pretty much what I expected to happen. And I like the orange and pink together. That pink ended up looking pretty cool. It's like a grapefruit pink. It's been a while since I've done a pour like this, but they typically end up looking like this. So let's see if I can salvage this. After I cut these into bars, the moment I cut into it, I remembered that I was supposed to cut these into sample sizes. So let me test if I wreck this one, then I'm not gonna risk ruining all the bars. I'll just make another batch. And that'll work. So this will be the width of the bars, and then they'll be cut in half to be sample sizes. So it looks like I can cut each one into thirds with no problem at all. So that's gonna work. I know you all never make mistakes like that, but I guess that's like my job so that you don't do that. It's like forgetting to put the fragrance in. Okay, so I think I'll just continue to do this and not bore you with it. And then I will bring you back for when I cut them with Pinky. Some of you know who Pinky is. And so I'll be right back. Okay, so for a whole new generation of soapers, this is Pinky. If you look back to some of my earliest videos, this is what I exclusively cut my soap with. And when I finally got my first soap cutter and this went away, people missed it. So I say that Pinky has its own fan club. And it's still a good sharp knife for doing small bits like this. And I know I could cut this on my wire cutter, but Pinky just wouldn't have it. So these little sample bars end up being about 90 ounces. And they're going to be used as small client gifts. And they really are a lot of work because instead of dealing with 11 bars, you're dealing with like 33. And I've got to make 2 more sample soaps like this. And then shrink wrap them all and label them all. But it's also good marketing to have your company's contact information on the labels on 33 soaps. So the other thing I can talk about while I cut these is the fact that I didn't use a real apple red and I didn't use a real orange, but it's all up for interpretation. So what I decided to go for is more of the look I was going for with the fragrance. And I'm really happy with the colors that came out of this. So I'm going to finish cutting these up while I tell you thank you so much for tuning in. I've been dealing with ill parents, and that takes up quite a bit of my time, but I wouldn't have it any other way. They spent a lot of time with my brother and me as we grew up, so it's time to give back. But I've been doing this since about 2011, so basically I've done this before I started to make soap. My parents live about 2 hours away, so it's a bit of a commute to get there. So I'm just content in making as much soap as I can without making myself go crazy. But at the same time, I think doing something that you really like to do, like making soap and painting, picking up the guitar, for me, is just the me time, the therapy time that I need when I get back home. And we all should be lucky because there's some people that haven't found that passion to keep them occupied between all my interests. I can kind of drive myself crazy trying to find time to do all the things I like doing, but I manage somehow. So thanks for watching. You are part of my therapy too, to read your comments after I post the videos. So, you know, when other YouTube people say, you know, I really love you and all that kind of stuff. They really mean it. You come like a invisible family out there. And I know a lot of people now that I've met in person, so they're not invisible anymore. I can have the memories of meeting them here and there, and mostly at soap conferences. So maybe you'll consider going to one of the big conferences. The next Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild conference is in Dallas, and I'll be speaking there again, along with my friends Zahida and Ariane from La Fille de la Mar in Nova Scotia, and Zahida, handmade in Florida. And I wonder where she lives. Oh, I guess it must be Florida. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I may be taking another couple of breaks, but at least I've got 2 more soaps of this custom order to do, so I will have videos of that. So thanks again. I really appreciate you. You're important to me, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.